Previously on Bollocks.
Bollocks! Okay, Shanda from Tsogo Sun. She's the group CSI manager. We've been talking for a while, Comfort and I, although I'd completely, I got snowed under by Roger Desar not answering my phone. You spend 2 million rand on football development every year, and tomorrow you launch your season opening tournament. Tell me a little bit more about it, please, Shanda.
That's correct. Yeah, we started this program in 2010. It coincided with the World Cup, but at the same time, it wasn't a one-year thing for us. We're now going into our 5th year. The season opens in April now, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we have just over 800 boys playing over the weekend, as we do every year, and then the inter-school league starts straight after that over the next 6 months, where they play weekly matches, under 12, under 14, under 16 boys.
Yeah, I love it. I look at the school football here, and I still have this great problem with South African schools that even the English-speaking ones that prefer to play rugby at high school. So you're going up to under 16.
Well, we go up to under 16, but then we also have a talent ID section. So of those almost 900 players, we then select 20 in each age group, and then we have an under 13, 15, 17, and 19 sort of league games that play in the Soweto League, sort of a talent ID section as well. Then we have a coaching the coaches. So we try and cross the spectrum of what sort of grassroots development is required. Coaching the coaches, mass participation, and talent ID as well. And it runs throughout the school curriculum year.
Blimey, I look for school leagues, right? I mean, all the way around Tshwane, when I was a kid, we had quite well-run school leagues. We had a national Coca-Cola competition, which found Neal Collins, Neal Collins, who was at one point South Africa's most expensive player. And he was found from an integrated, properly put together school system that ran from your schools to your provinces to your national school side. Will the Tsogo Sun be able to present to us some kind of national school squad at any point?
Well, what we're trying to do is actually create the platform. We don't want to take away the positions of the clubs and the professional leagues at all. What we're trying to do is create the platform for these guys to be discovered. And we then give them the wings to fly as such. Yeah. So we're not in the professional space. What we're trying to do is create the platform for this discovery in the school space. So we're not competing with clubs at all. It's very much an inter-school leagues program. Yeah. The major support we get from the schools in that area, we specifically at the moment focusing on the West Rand, but looking at other opportunities as well. That's where we've been, laid the foundation, great support from the local SASFA committee as well. So it's very important that we collaborate with them and the local government Department of Education as well, and Sports and Rec. So it's very much a collaboration, but it's about creating that foundation for grassroots development soccer for the platform. There are a lot of other people in the professional space and the club space, not our space, very much mass participation, grassroots development to discover that talent.
Yeah, I don't know how you discover it without well-organised, well-kitted out, well-refereed, top-class school football, and I don't see enough of it. I'm sorry, and I don't see enough decent football grounds.
I agree with you, and let me tell you how we're doing that. We're working with the local Mogale City Referees Association, so we make sure we got quality for referee going as well, and we're trying to work with the referees as well and getting them upskilled. We're working with the coaches to get them SAFA accreditation as well, working with sort of the likes of the KVNBs that come out here and do some coaching. We do a lot of the coaching development as well. We make sure that we facilitate the grounds with the local municipality. We do a lot of that stuff where there is the problem. What we do in terms of our expenses is also providing the kit. When you talk about the kit, we provide the kit to 58 soccer teams in that area every single year, from socks to boots, shin pads, shirts, shorts. It's nice for the guys when they run on as a school team to look like a school team. The pride and the confidence they feel when they do that is amazing, and it's evident in their play and in their commitment to the program as well. We've seen the commitment from the players and the coaches slowly grow over the last 5 years when they realize we're not going anywhere and we want to help them develop. So we believe that we've got a great program that's literally laying the foundation for that kind of programs to develop more.
Cool, and you're mostly focused on the West Rand at the moment?
At the moment, we are looking at other areas.
Yeah. Okay, I need to speak to Danny about this, and Dennis Mumble and all these guys at SAFA, because we still have, as far as I know, there's this massive FIFA legacy fund sitting there waiting for exactly that kind of thing to link in with private guys like you guys, like the Tsogo Sun people, and creating for us massive grassroots football. When I drive around England on a Saturday or Sunday morning, I will see 17, 18 games, depending where you're driving. I don't see enough of it in this country anymore. We used to see a lot of it. A lot of people playing with tennis balls on the street corner. Comfort. But we don't see enough of it now. And it's not just here. It's all over the world. Kids that want to play computer games and kids that want to chat on their phones and stuff. I'm sounding very old here, but I want to see more kids out there with decent kits. I want to see decent referees, decent coaches, and then some kind of provincial system so we can find the best players. And I'm talking about the age 12, 13. I mean, I think it gets too young now in England. I see players being picked at 6 or 7. The son of Maradona, David Beckham's boy, for instance, called Brooklyn or Wellington or something, and they pick them up at 6 or 7. All I'm looking for is to be able to drive around with someone like Deshi Backtower and other guys that I know, and know that on a Tuesday afternoon there'll be school games. We can pop in, sit down, watch. Well, you can
come anytime to ours, because that's exactly what happens during the school calendar year. These guys are practicing once a week at least. And then on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, there's league games happening, at least 9 to 10 league games happening out in that area every single Tuesday and Wednesday during the calendar year. The academy team trains 3 or 4 times plus on a Saturday. I have to say that it's threefold in a way. That what we're trying to do is, obviously the soccer development is primary, but it's a platform also for these youngsters to do exactly that. Keep active, keep busy, keep away from getting up to mischief. When they're not doing anything active, they're getting up to mischief. So we're trying to keep them busy in a positive, proactive kind of way, in a physically active way. And at the same time, there's life skills that we're introducing as well, because we find a lot of the professional sportsmen don't always get that grounding, and especially when they just get discovered young. So the life skills is very important. We're looking at partnership with some of the banks to do financial education from a young age, understanding it in their language, their vernacular, and also in terms of what a 12-year-old can understand from a very simple way, and as they grow. The same thing is when they go into other environments. We expose them to our hotels, for example, bring them onto our properties. Basic etiquette and just manners, basic things, not to say that they don't have it, but in an environment that's not familiar to them, for example. That's very critical to guys as they grow into the professional space.
Mate, Shanda, I can't say enough how glad I am that someone like you can come and tell me that this is happening, because how many times have I complained about the lack of these. Taking kids on football tour at the age of 12 is a part of every young boy and girl these days. Part of their development, part of growing up. I'm going to go on tour, I'm going to play 3 games, and I'm going to come back and I'll be without mum and dad, and I'll have to be just the coach will be the guy that kind of shouts at us. And I think it's vital to development, and I'm so glad to hear you coming here and telling us. Now listen, what's your website?
It's www.tsogosun.com.
Oh, that's
as
simple.
Simple as it is. And then you'll find this.
And can people apply there to have their school included in your setup, or is it more difficult than that?
It's a little bit more difficult than that. We like to go into particular communities as opposed to just... The reason being is the proximity of schools to play inter-school leagues. So, transport becomes a big, big challenge in communities. So we try and work with communities in close proximity to each other because of the transport and logistics. We can't have kids going from the West Rand down to the East and that kind of thing. No. It just becomes a logistical nightmare. And also, you don't want the kids out late at night because then they get home. There's a very different set of circumstances when they get home. They need to be able to get home safe, etc., and they don't have private transport. So we try and look after all those things. It's not just about soccer, it's the well-being of the young person. So that's a lot of that goes into consideration.
Cool.
But we're very proud of it, I have to say. I mean, the youngsters are totally committed. If I look back on the first year that we started it in 2010 to what we're doing now in 2014, the commitment of these young kids, they do not miss practice, they do not miss their games. They've become slightly competitive, but there are certain rules about time management. You're accountable to your team, but also to your opponent. There's rules in games in terms of the manners to your opponent. Yes, it's a bit of a laugh, but we're trying to teach them sportsmanship and fair play at the same time, because that is a lesson you learn from young, you take up as well. One thing I'd like to mention, there's one or two couple of guys, Morgan Gould, for example, Simpiwe Chabalala, and Lucas and Doc Kamala, for example, big fans. They come to our tournaments every year and show their support, just in terms of their commitment to the development of soccer, but also just not just about the technical side, but just who you can become as a person. And a great South African.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I struggle with the whole competitive thing. I mean, I think we should be competitive. I think from an early age we can be.
Your mic, Neil.
Yeah, no. Is my mic gone?
Yeah, no, you could.
My ears have gone. Sorry. In England now, under 10, under 11 rugby is now non-competitive. You're not even allowed to talk about the results. I think that's going too far. We used to rope off. We used to have to rope off grounds, rugby and football, even cricket, because the parents got too competitive, and the parents would start shoving and pushing each other. I don't have a problem with over-competitiveness as long as it's sporting, and as long as
Correct.
in the middle of that over-competitiveness with the guys crying and kicking each other like the handbags at Chiefs last night, as long as there's someone there, you know, the coach or someone else, to say to them, guys, yeah, it's all very well being competitive, but do it this way. Then I'm happy.
A big part of that is the coaches, in fact. And a big part of that is why we want to work with the coaches as well. When you're dealing with a 12-year-old, you don't want to just only be about the game and the winning. It's about the sportsmanship as well. So we work with the coaches and the players in that regard. And that's what's been so, rewarding about it, in the sense it's that what we're trying to teach them. Of course, everybody wants to win. There's an accolade to that, and there's a prestige attached to it, especially when you're 12 or 14 or whatever, and you want to be part of a winning team. But a winning team with credibility, a winning team with good manners.
People asking if they can contact you, Shanda. I mean, you know that the minute you come on and start saying that you help young footballers, you're going to get a massive response on this show. I get requests all the time from people that want help with school football, club football, junior football, scouting. So apart from going through tsogosun.com, is there an email or something?
Best is to email me, Shanda, SHANDA.PAINE @tsogosun.com.
At tsogosun.com.
What we're happy to do is also share sort of our IP and how we've gone about it, what we found the challenges on, how we've circumvented it. So I'm happy to share my learnings with other people, even if we can't be part of them from a funding point of view. You know, we can always talk and collaborate with people, share ideas. And I think that's a great opportunity for development football, almost at a non-club level, at schools football level. I think that's a great opportunity.
Shanda, we've been assailed by enthusiasm, by 2 million rand a year from Tsogo Sun. I've put your contact details, guys, at Neal Collins on Twitter. Just do the hashtag Bulls Radio, bollocks, and also at Bulls Radio with a Z. And you'll find Shanda's contact details, the email that she just gave us, shanda.paine, P-A-I-N-E.
That's correct.
At tsogosun.com.
That's correct.
Is that right? So have a look at that, guys. She'll be able to answer your questions about how to get your school included, or at least to get your school into another setup similar to what Tsogo Sun are running on the West Rand. Kit, transport, coaches, referees, it's all there. And the slight quibble about whether we should be competitive or not. I can't help being competitive when I coach my under-9s. I think this weekend we're at Kolami and we got my best side out, and I'm not going to lose. But if they do lose, and we did. I mean, last week we got beat 3-0 in the first game.
Can we bring you onto one of our coaching mentoring courses just to give you some calming pills? I think the coaches get more excited on the sideline.
I hate that. No, listen, I don't get that bad. I'm not that bad. I see coaches that are living their lives through their children, and I don't like that. And I see parents shouting
seen
and
you and your
screaming
boy.
offside. Yeah, but it's...
You hard on him, and he's only 9.
Yeah, but I think I know where to draw the line. As a player, I often didn't, but as a coach, especially as a parent coach, I think we must know where to draw the line. And I have absolutely no fear that school football is going to be ruined by competitiveness, because in this country I see far more, not at rugby, funny enough, but at football I see far more arms round and not so much nastiness as I used to see in the British football, under 8, under 9, under 12. The rugby, I've seen bad things at high school, and I'd like to see, obviously, and we should debate this, Maz won't like this, but I do think that football needs to be played in the high schools in this country, particularly English-speaking high schools, because that's where you find it. You're under 14, under 16 levels, that's where you find your talent.
Absolutely.
Shanda, thanks so much for coming in. I've got your email out on our Twitter. Guys, if you bollocks with a Z hashtag on Twitter, you'll find Shanda Paine at tsogosun.com. Speak to her, contact her, find out if your school or your bunch of youngsters can get any help from Tsogo Sun or from Safanet. I don't hear enough from Safanet on this. I know they have the money, I know they have the resources, and I speak to people about it all the time. I get nowhere. It's so good for you to come in and give us an opportunity to at least get some kind of contact out there. And the website, www.tsogosun.com, see what they're doing. Find out more about how junior football has to be the way ahead. Thanks, Shanda, for coming in.
Thanks.
Balls.co.za. Visual Radio.